There is a drink that is associated with less scarring in the liver, a lower risk of liver cancer, and a lower risk of dying from liver disease. It is not a supplement. Nobody is selling it to you in a bottle with a gold label. It costs about 30 cents a cup. It is sitting in almost every kitchen in America, and there is a very good chance it is within arm's reach of you at this exact moment. And for 40 years, people your age have been told to cut back on it. I am Dr. Patterson, 15 years of practice, and I want to tell you what happened when the research on this drink came in, because it genuinely embarrassed a lot of us. For decades, the medical advice was that this was a vice, something to moderate, something a sensible person over 60 gradually gives up, along with everything else that is any fun. And then the data started arriving, and it kept arriving, and it kept saying the same thing. And the thing it said was the opposite of what we had been telling people. The drink is coffee. And before you click away, because you already know coffee is fine, you do not know the half of it. And more importantly, there is a very good chance you are drinking it in a way that cancels the whole benefit out. Because there is one specific mistake made at breakfast tables every single morning in this country that takes the single most liver-protective drink we have ever studied and turns it into something your liver has to clean up after. That is number one on this list, and I would bet money a lot of you are making it. So today, I am giving you the 5 rules for drinking coffee so it actually protects your liver. We count down from 5 to 1, and number 1 is that mistake. But watch for number 3 especially, because number 3 is the one that surprises everyone, including the researchers. It means the thing you think is doing the work is not doing the work at all. And it means this video applies to you even if you cannot touch caffeine. Before we start, tell me in the comments how many cups you drink a day and whether you take it black or with something in it. Just that. I read every one, and the answers genuinely shape what I make next. And one thing while we are here, everything I'm about to tell you is one piece of a bigger picture, the small daily habits that quietly decide whether you are thriving at 80 or managing at 70. I took everything I tell my own patients and put it into one simple plan. If you want it, the link is right there on your screen whenever you are ready. You do not need to write anything down. Now let me show you what coffee actually does inside your liver, because once you see it, all 5 rules make sense. What the research actually found. Let me give you the numbers, and then, and this is important, let me tell you honestly what they do and do not mean, because I am not going to oversell this to you. Start with the biggest one. Researchers went into the UK Biobank, a database of around 500,000 people, and looked at coffee drinkers against non-coffee drinkers over years of follow-up. Coffee drinkers had a lower rate of chronic liver disease, lower rates of fatty liver, and a lower rate of dying from liver disease. 500,000 people. That is not a small study with 40 volunteers and a press release. Then look at cirrhosis. That is the end stage where the liver has scarred so badly it cannot do its job anymore. Meta-analyses pooling multiple studies have found that drinking around 2 cups a day is associated with a substantially lower risk of cirrhosis. Not a nudge, a large difference, and there is a dose response. More cups, up to a point, tracked with lower risk, which is one of the things that makes researchers take an association seriously rather than shrugging at it. Then, liver cancer. Hepatocellular carcinoma is the most common primary liver cancer, and it is a genuinely bad one. Coffee consumption has been associated with lower risk of it across many studies in different countries, with different populations, different diets, different everything. And again, dose response. And here is the one that matters most for the people watching this who already have a problem. In people who already have liver disease, fatty liver, hepatitis C, alcohol-related damage, coffee drinking has been associated with less fibrosis, less scarring, slower progression. So this is not only a story about staying healthy, it is a story about the road ahead, even if you are already on it. Now, let me be honest with you the way I would in my own office, because you deserve better than a sales pitch. Almost all of this is observational research. That means researchers watched what people did and tracked what happened to them. It is not a trial where they took 10,000 people, forced half of them to drink coffee for a decade, and compared. Nobody has run that study and nobody is going to. And that matters because observational research has a trap in it. Think about it for a second. Who quits coffee? People who feel unwell, people whose stomach has turned on them, people who are being treated for something, people who are already sick. So if sick people stop drinking coffee, coffee drinkers will look healthier in the data, and coffee gets the credit for something it did not do. Researchers call that reverse causation, and they work hard to account for it, but it never fully goes away. So here is my honest position, and it is the one I would give you across the desk. The evidence for coffee is unusually strong and unusually consistent for this kind of research. It shows up across dozens of studies, across continents, with a dose response, and with mechanisms that make biological sense. That is about as good as nutrition science gets. But it is an association, and I am not going to stand here and tell you coffee is a treatment for your liver. What I will tell you is this: if you enjoy coffee, the old advice to cut it back for your health was wrong, and the evidence that it is doing your liver a favor is genuinely good. And there are real mechanisms underneath it, which is part of why it is taken seriously. Coffee is loaded with chlorogenic acids, plant polyphenols that quiet inflammation and oxidative stress, that slow internal rusting inside the cells I have talked about before. There is laboratory work suggesting coffee compounds interfere with the process that turns an inflamed liver into a scarred one by dampening the cells that lay down that scar tissue in the first place. That is a mechanism aimed precisely at the step that matters. So, coffee is good for your liver. Now let us talk about how to actually drink it, because this is where most people quietly throw the benefit away. Number 5. Filter it. Number 5. And this one has nothing to do with taste. Run it through a paper filter. Coffee contains two compounds called caffeine and kawel. They come out of the bean in the brewing, and they are among the most potent things we know of for raising LDL cholesterol, the kind you are trying to keep down. A paper filter traps most of them. No paper filter, and they end up in your cup. So, which methods have no paper filter? French press, the plunger pot, Turkish coffee, boiled or cowboy coffee. Espresso, partly. It is a small volume, so it carries less overall, but it is unfiltered. Those metal mesh filters in some machines and reusable pods let them straight through too. There is real data on this. A large Norwegian study following hundreds of thousands of person-years found filtered coffee associated with lower mortality than unfiltered coffee. Same drink, different filter, different outcome. Now, to be fair and accurate, the liver benefits show up across brewing methods. This is not me telling you your French press is hurting your liver. It is me telling you that you can have the liver benefit and keep your cholesterol where you want it, and it costs you one paper filter. Why on earth would you not? If you love your French press, a decent compromise is to pour it through a paper filter afterward, or simply keep it as a weekend thing rather than 4 cups every day. Drip coffee with a paper filter or a pour-over gives you everything with none of the cholesterol tax. Number 4. Nothing after 2 in the afternoon. Number 4 is timing, and it connects to something I have talked about before, because your liver and your sleep are not two separate topics. Your liver does its heaviest repair work overnight. It pulls fat out of storage and burns it, packages up waste, and repairs its own cells during the fasting window while you sleep. Wreck your sleep and you shorten that shift. So anything that damages your sleep damages your liver, indirectly but genuinely. And caffeine damages sleep far later in the day than people believe. Here is the part that catches everyone. Caffeine's half-life is around 5 to 6 hours. That means the coffee you drank at 4 in the afternoon still has half its caffeine circulating in you at 10 at night. In one well-known study, caffeine taken a full 6 hours before bed still measurably disrupted people's sleep. And the crucial detail is that the people themselves did not notice. They reported sleeping fine. The measurement said otherwise. That is the trap. Caffeine does not always stop you falling asleep. It quietly shaves the depth off your sleep, and after 60, you have less deep sleep to spare in the first place. So, I can drink coffee at dinner and sleep like a baby is not the flex people think it is. You slept. You did not sleep deeply. So draw a line in the early afternoon. 2 o'clock is a sensible cutoff for most people. Get your coffee in the morning where it belongs, where it does its work, and clears out before your liver's night shift starts. Number 3. It is not the caffeine. Here is the one I told you to watch for, and it is the one that surprised the researchers themselves. Everybody assumes the caffeine is doing the work. That is the whole mental model. Coffee is a caffeine delivery system, so if coffee helps the liver, caffeine must be why. Then researchers looked at decaf, and decaf showed benefits too. In the big population studies, decaffeinated coffee drinkers also had lower liver disease rates. In work looking at liver enzymes, the blood markers that climb when liver cells are inflamed and leaking, decaf drinkers had better numbers as well. The UK Biobank work found the strongest signal with ground caffeinated coffee, but decaf and instant showed benefit too. Do you see what that means? If decaf works, the caffeine is not the hero. It is the rest of the coffee, the chlorogenic acids, the polyphenols, the hundreds of plant compounds in a roasted coffee bean that have nothing to do with the buzz. The caffeine is a passenger, the bean is the medicine. And I love this fact because of who it lets in. If you gave up coffee because of your heart rhythm, or your blood pressure, or your anxiety, or because your doctor told you to, or because it simply keeps you awake now in a way it never used to, you are not shut out of this. Decaf is on the table. Get a decent one, ground, and run it through a paper filter, and you are in the same conversation as everybody else. Quick pause, because this is the natural spot. If this is the first time anyone has told you the caffeine is not the point, tap that like button and subscribe. It honestly helps this reach more people over 60 who gave up coffee for no good reason. And tell me in the comments if you are a decaf drinker. I suspect there are more of you than anyone thinks. Now back to the countdown. Number 2, 2 to 3 cups and no more is not better. Number 2 is the dose, and this is where I have to say a phrase I have said before and will keep saying. More is not better. Across the research, the sweet spot lands consistently around 2 to 3 cups a day, sometimes stretching to 4. That is where the association with lower liver disease is strongest. Below that, the effect is smaller. Above it, the curve flattens out. You stop collecting extra benefit, and you start collecting other problems. 6, 8, 10 cups a day, and you are into territory where the caffeine itself causes trouble. A racing or irregular heartbeat, jitters, anxiety that gets mistaken for something else entirely, reflux, and sleep that never gets deep. After 60, you are also more sensitive to caffeine than you were at 30 gods. You clear it more slowly, so the same 4 cups that were nothing at 40 land differently now. A cup, by the way, means a normal cup, 8 ounces or so, not the enormous travel mug that holds 3. Be honest with yourself about what you are actually pouring. So 2 to 3 normal cups, filtered, before 2 in the afternoon. That is the prescription, and it is genuinely all the coffee you need for this. Number 1, what you are putting in it. And here is number 1, the mistake. The one I would bet money a lot of you are making right now, and the one that takes the best liver drink we have ever studied and hands your liver a job instead of a favor. It is not the coffee. It is what you are stirring into it. Here is why this matters more than almost anything else in this video. Your liver's biggest enemy, the thing that actually drives fat into liver cells, is not fat. It is sugar, specifically fructose, which does not go straight into your bloodstream like glucose does. It takes a detour to your liver. Your liver has to process it. And when it arrives in a flood, the liver converts it directly into fat and packs that fat into its own cells. There is a name for it, de novo lipogenesis, making new fat from scratch. That is the exact process that builds a fatty liver. So now look honestly at what is in the cup. The flavored syrups, 2, 3, 4 pumps, and each pump is sugar. The sweet creamers, which are largely sugar and oil with coffee flavoring rights. The big blended drinks from the drive-thru, some of which carry more sugar than a can of soda and land somewhere closer to a milkshake than a coffee. And the 2 spoons of sugar that a lot of you have stirred in every single morning for 50 years without ever thinking about it once. Here is what that does. You take a drink whose polyphenols are quietly protecting your liver, and you dissolve into it the exact substance that makes your liver store fat. You are handing your liver a gift and an invoice in the same cup. And the sad part is you are doing it because someone told you coffee is healthy, so you feel good about a drink that is, in that form, a dessert. Black is best, it genuinely is. If black is too much, here is the honest ladder down, and it works. A splash of real milk or plain unsweetened cream is fine. It does not undo anything meaningful. Unsweetened plant milk is fine. Real cinnamon on the grounds before you brew is my favorite trick because it adds a sweetness that has no sugar in it at all. And if you take sugar, cut it by half and hold there for 2 weeks, your palate genuinely resets. And this is not willpower talk. It is just what taste does. Then cut it again. That is number 1. It is the whole ball game, the single most liver protective drink we have ever studied, or a dessert with a health halo, and the only difference is what you stir in. Frank. Let me tell you about someone I will call Frank. He is a blend of several patients I have cared for, so nobody's privacy is on the line. But I have watched this exact thing more than once. Frank was 69, retired, cheerful, doing what he thought was everything right. His blood work showed his ALT up. That is a liver enzyme that climbs when liver cells are inflamed, and an ultrasound showed a moderately fatty liver. He was baffled and a bit insulted because he barely drank, and he had always assumed liver trouble was a drinker's problem. Somewhere in the conversation he mentioned proudly that he had quit soda entirely. He was pleased about it, and I asked what he drank instead, and he told me, 2 large coffees a day from the drive-thru on the corner, caramel, whipped cream on the good days. He had read that coffee was good for the liver. He was not wrong. He had just never once thought about the caramel. We added it up together on a piece of paper. 2 of those drinks was somewhere north of 50 grams of sugar a day, every single day for years, going straight to the organ we were sitting there worrying about. He had quit soda and replaced it with soda that had coffee in it and felt healthy doing it. We did not start with a prescription. We started with the cup. He went to filtered black coffee at home, 2 cups, mornings only, with cinnamon in the grounds. He hated it for about 10 days and then stopped noticing. He added the 10-minute walk after dinner and moved his evening snack to fruity-ow. That is the other liver video, and he had watched it. Now, I am going to be honest with you about the result, because I always am. It was not the coffee that fixed Frank's liver. It was removing the 50 grams of sugar, plus the walk, plus the evenings, and the coffee was along for the ride, and probably helping at the margins. 3 months later, his ALT had come down toward normal, and the tiredness he had been blaming on his age had lifted. What I want you to take from Frank is not that coffee is magic. It is that he had been drinking the right thing the wrong way for years, feeling virtuous the entire time, and nobody had ever told him. The honest caution. Before I let you go, the part I would say in my own office, coffee is not a treatment. If you have liver disease, coffee is not the answer, and I am not telling you to skip your appointment because you drank a cup. Food and drink are the foundation. They are not the whole house. Some people genuinely should not. If you have a heart rhythm problem, or your blood pressure is poorly controlled, or you have anxiety or panic that caffeine winds up, or reflux that coffee sets off, or you have been told to avoid it. This video does not override your doctor, who knows things about you that I do not. And remember, number 3, decaf is a real option, and it keeps you in the game. Caffeine interacts. It interacts with certain medications, and some medications dramatically slow how fast you clear it, so the same 2 cups hit like 6. Your pharmacist will tell you in 1 minute for free. Ask. And the yellow flags are not fruit problems, and they are not coffee problems. Yellowing of your skin or the whites of your eyes. Pain or swelling in the upper right of your belly. Dark urine. Swelling in your legs or your abdomen. Those are see a doctor promptly problems, and no cup of anything is the answer to them. Never stop a prescription because of a video, including mine. If something here makes you wonder about your medication, that is a good instinct and a conversation for your doctor, not a decision for a Tuesday morning. Recap. So there they are. 5 rules to make the drink in your hand work for your liver instead of against it. Number 5. Filter it. A paper filter costs you a penny and keeps your cholesterol out of it. Number 4, nothing after 2 in the afternoon, because your liver's night shift depends on your sleep, and caffeine lingers longer than you think. Number 3, it is not the caffeine. Decaf works. The bean is the medicine, and you are welcome here even if caffeine and you parted ways years ago. Number 2, 2 to 3 normal cups, because more is not better, it never is. And number 1, the mistake, what you are stirring in. Black, or as close as you can honestly get. The syrup is the whole difference between a gift and an invoice. And here is what I really want you to take away. Almost everything I ask people your age to do for their health is a subtraction. Eat less of this, give up that, cut back. This one is not. This is the rare morning where the honest advice is the thing you already love, that you were told to feel guilty about, is on your side. Just stop pouring dessert into it. Now, one more thing, and it might be the most useful number in this whole conversation. I mentioned ALT, the liver enzyme, twice. Here is what almost nobody knows. The normal range printed on your lab report for that number is, in the view of a lot of liver specialists, set far too high, because it was built from populations that already included a lot of people with fatty liver. Which means your report can come back marked normal while your liver is quietly telling a different story. In my next video, I will show you what that number should actually be, what to ask your doctor when yours is fine, and the second test that catches what ALT misses. If you have ever been told your liver numbers are normal, that one is for you. I will put it right here on the screen. I am Dr. Patterson. Enjoy your coffee, Black. I will see you there. Content PDF.